Hey, what's up? We are live, and first thing I want for you to do before I even tell you what we're talking about is smash the like because you like me. You either love me or you hate me. There's nothing in between. So, because you love me, because you're here, smash the like. All right. So, today we are talking about something really, really important, and it is the biggest misconception on credit cards and credit sweeps. Now, I have tons and tons of notes, crap load of notes, but basically we're only going to be going over a little bit of it because even though I put a ton of time into creating this because I am a content creator, we're not going to go over everything. Now, why is it important that we talk about this? Well, every single person everywhere wants to pretend like as soon as you get that first credit card, you automatically have a raise. And honey, you don't, right? You don't. You literally have a cushion that needs to be paid back when you use a credit card. So I'm changing some of my settings here because again, we're live. So a couple of things. I am turning off the chat because there's already things that I want to talk about. So I believe that I did that. So let's go back over to my stream. Okay, so here's the deal. Credit cards are a cushion. They are not meant to be just spent and not paid back. And obviously, that's how we got here to begin with, right? With collections and charge offs and late payments and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I get it. Not a problem. There is a way to fix that. But it's moving forward and having the understanding of what we're actually supposed to be doing with these things, right? So, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So my stepdaughter is going to be 18, and she called me one day, and yes, Cassidy, I am talking about you. She called me one day and she said, "Hey, Kristen, if I don't pay for my cell phone, will you be able to remove it? Because I would rather go eat sushi." And I was like, "No, dude, I'm not going to be like a party to that." Like, so there's this thing that no one's talking about, and I'm seeing this everywhere, and it's really pissing me off actually, that you can just go get credit cards, spend them, not pay them back, have absolute zero responsibility, zero consequence, and that we can just remove these things from our credit reports. And that's not what people should be talking about. Okay. So, again, I'm not judging you because I'm here teaching these things to you because I personally went through the same thing. I did the same thing. I had the collections, I had the charge offs, I, claimed bankruptcy at 20. And yes, I removed all these things from my credit report. But over the fazillions of years in between, and no, I'm not a fazillion years old, but I'm just saying in all those years in between, I learned exactly what it was that I was supposed to be doing to be able to get a house and get a car and get multiple cars and get tons of loans. And, there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. And I don't want you to do these things the wrong way or have the wrong expectation just because no one wants to talk about the truth. Why is nobody talking about the truth? Why is nobody teaching you the right way to do this? And I honestly can't tell you why, other than maybe they just want you to click some buttons. Maybe they want you to buy their courses. Maybe they want you to sign up for their programs, and they don't want to tell you the truth. They don't want you to have realistic expectations. And that is the problem here. So, first of all, is there a way to do a legal credit sweep? Legal. No identity theft, no 7-day sweep, no 14-day sweep, no none of those things that don't exist or, only exist on YouTube. Yes, there is a right way to do it. Yes, it is possible. You can remove everything except for child support and foreclosures in process. So, yeah, that covers charge offs, collections, foreclosures, repossessions, bankruptcies, judgments, tax liens. But there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And removing your negative items from your credit report does not, does not automatically give you some sort of, ticket to go get all these different credit cards and loans. You have to become score qualified. And the way that you become score qualified is removing your negatives, right? So I actually have my original program. I have my credit sweep program and I have my original program where we cover everything A to Z, right? So you have the deletion of your negatives, then you have rebuilding your credit file, and then you also have it's kind of rescoring, but not rescoring, because your scoring has to do with, getting mortgages and paying things off very quickly, right? But there's a very specific way that we need to do these things, and then you become score qualified. So that means that removing I don't care how many negative items you have. If you remove them all right now, it doesn't mean that your score is going to be where it needs to be for you to go and, have a 740 to get like the best rate on a mortgage. It doesn't mean that you're not. It just means that you have to have a goal. 740 here, okay, for a mortgage, a goal, and you remove your negatives, then you flush out your credit. You have, 5 different types of credit, and then now we can go and apply because we've taken the time to, number one, remove our negatives, number 2, rebuild our file, and then number 3, meet that score goal, right? And yeah, sometimes it's going to take a little bit of time to be able to go from having a $300 credit card or a no $100 credit card to, getting approved for a $500,000 house, right? And if there was many things that I learned during the pandemic, right? But one of the major things was that lenders, you have to start thinking like a lender sometimes, right? Lenders will allow you to get a house. I don't care if it was $100,000 or if it is 1.5 million, right? They will give you a house faster than giving you a $2,000, personal loan or a business loan. And why is that? Well, the answer to that is very, very simple. They can go and take your house back. The same as it's super simple for, me and my husband to go and walk in and get a Mercedes right now. Why? Because they can take it back. It doesn't matter if I crash it. It doesn't matter, if I don't pay and they come and they swoop it up. They're going to get their property back, right? However, if we have 1 million people who get $300 credit cards and don't pay them back, now we're talking about $300 million, right? They're not going to be able to get that money back. And it's going to cost them even more money to go and try to collect from you. So what am I saying here? I'm saying that being able to achieve financial freedom is most definitely possible, right? My proof of concept is like, it's for real. It's for real. Proof of concept is for real. I took a felon who literally had no credit and then had bad credit, and in a period of 11 months was able to get over $1.5 million of credit. So what I'm talking about is legit. And 11 months is significantly less time than it normally takes someone to be able to go and, get credit cards and houses and vehicles and all these other different things. But when you have people here on YouTube, because it seems like this is the only place that exists, who are telling you that, as soon as you remove your negative items in 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 60 days, now you're going to be score qualified and you can go and get $96,000. You can get a $12,000 credit card. You can go and get all these other things. And that is not true. And when you set your expectations for these things that are just absolutely and totally, completely unbelievable and unicorns and rainbows, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. So, I mean, like, what are you supposed to do? Well, if you have negative items and no positive credit, what you need to be doing is first learning how to remove your negative items. I don't care what they are, right? Your collections, your charge-offs, whatever. You need to learn how to do it the right way, because the longer you dispute, the harder it is to remove your negative items. And that is one of the biggest misconceptions about credit sweeps and credit repair, that you can just keep on going and that it's not going to affect anything. No, this is not like, where you go bowling and, you can just mess up a million times because it's going to be a bunch of whatever on the screen and that you just reset and do it all over again. No, the longer you are disputing, the more letters that you send out, the more times that you have verifications, the more times that they reject you, the harder it is to remove those negative items. So if you are sending out these templates, if you're sending out, identity theft, if you are disputing online, if you're calling in your disputes, and you are doing it the wrong way, you are not going to remove your negative items in any respectable period of time. And you're not going to be able to get that 740. You're not going to be able to go and get those vehicles. You're not going to be able to go and get that house. You're not going to be able to put more food on the table. You're not going to have good birthdays for your children. You're not going to have them in good schools, right? You're going to continue to have the same type of lifestyle that you currently do, that you're trying so hard to get out of, when it's as simple as learn how to do this the right way. Stop doing the wrong thing. Stop believing in unicorns and rainbows. And I promise you that things are going to get better. I promise you, you're going to be able to remove these things from your credit report. And all it takes is just a little bit of common sense and a little bit of know how to fill that knowledge gap to be able to do these things, right? So when it comes to building your credit, when it comes to going from, no credit or negative items and no positive credit to having that house and having the vehicles and having the loans and having that lifestyle that you really, really, really so desperately want to have, there's a very specific flow for us to get there. Okay. And this is, again, one of the biggest misconceptions. It's not going to happen overnight. You didn't take the 12 years that it took me to learn all this stuff to be able to get someone, who whatever, paid their debt to society to get $1.5 million in credit in 11 months. But what you can do is you can learn how to get those little credit cards that turn into bigger credit cards that turn into bigger loans and installment loans and secured loans and unsecured loans and all that kind of stuff to be able to flesh out your credit to get where you need to be. Because mortgage lenders want to see more than just secured credit. They want to see more than just authorized user trade lines. And they don't want to see authorized user trade lines. That's another thing. They're not going to give you a house and give you all this money based on someone else's credit, right? So the first thing that you can start applying for, as long as you don't have a bankruptcy, is going to be, those stupid things like self-lender. Like when we first got self-lender, and there's Kickoff and all these other ones, right? So it's not specific to one thing. And I will drop my affiliate link after I am done with this live stream. But anywho, you get this small little line, right? It's a secure line. You can have your, your installment loan. And then once you pay that off, then now you can have an unsecured line, an unsecured credit card. And then you can get a second one when you're done with that. So now you have these little things. You can also get merchandise cards. You can also go to the jewelry store. You can also go through a SEMA. And I mean, that's based off of whether you have money in your bank account, but at least here in New York, you're able to go to these different jewelry stores where based on the money that you have in your bank account to prove, hey, I do have the ability to pay these things back, you can get $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in credit that you pay it back every single week. And now that can also push to your credit. So you can get all these little different things. It's not just credit cards, right? And now you start fleshing out your credit file so that when you do finally go and you say, hey, I want to get my pre-approval for this house. It's my dream house. It's got a pool and a backyard for my kids, beautiful neighborhood, and it's right next to the school and blah, blah, blah. They're going to say, hey, guess what? You're pre-approved and it's the exact amount that you wanted. And let's start the process. You see, I have people who actually get on the phone with me and tell me, and I do have videos where I actually went over these conversations that I had with you guys because they just blow my mind here. But anywho, this person said, hey, I have everything except for bankruptcy and I need to remove it and I need it to be in 60 days because I need to go and get a mortgage. What? Dude, what rock did you crawl out from under? I really need to know that because I don't know with them. They're talking about famine right now. We have freaking inflation. It took me $250 to fill my gas tank on my truck, dude. Like what? It made me reconsider having a Hemi. Okay, like what are you talking about? What are you talking about? 60 days. In 60 days, dude, if I could just think about that for a second. If I could give you exactly what you wanted, right? In the exact time frame that you wanted, in 60 days, wipe out everything that you've done in the last 15 years and make your credit qualified to go and get a $500,000 loan. Don't you think that I would smack whatever price tag that I would want on that and give you that time frame that you want? Dude, I would be having lunch with the president. I would be having lunch with the president. I would not be in my office going live with you. Okay. Like, I mean, I love you and everything, but like, it's not you, it's me. Okay. Like, there's no way in hell I would have anybody give anybody the ability to pay me monthly because you're going to pay me $278 and get $500,000. No, honey, you're going to pay me $25,000. I'm going to take it on the back end when you get that $500,000 because I just changed your life in a way that nobody else could. So I have people who come to me with such unrealistic, like things that it's just like, what the heck? Where are you getting this information from? And I'll tell you where you're getting it. It's right here, not my channel, but these other channels where they're like, hey, well, in 7 days, in 14 days, in 60 days, you can get all these different things, and you're gonna get a $97,000 loan. And all you have to do is get this $500 card and pay me, X amount of money as a one-time payment. Don't worry, it's not even monthly, it's a one-time payment. You're gonna get access to all these resources, and you can go and apply for all these things. And I'm gonna give you everything that you ever wanted. It doesn't exist. 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 And it gets me so frustrated. It does not exist. It doesn't exist. So yes, I get a little bit frustrated sometimes because dude, there's 68 million people with bad credit. There's enough people to go around if that's what you're worried about. Like, when you create a business based off of trying to get into people's wallets and not actually helping them, that is what pisses me off, because I am like the anti-company, meaning that, like, dude, I don't lock my clients in. I'm one of the only 3 companies in the nation that give the copies of the disputes, that disputes all the negative items every single round, all 3 beers every single round. Actually take the time using custom factual disputes to find the actual reason why the account needs to be removed. Like, those are the things that I do for my clients. Why? Because not only is that what I believe that a consumer should actually have, right? But I don't think that you should be giving up your basic consumer rights and go into the whole falsifying documents to get someone else paid type of deal. Like, that is someone who is for the people, my people, right? That is someone who wants to change lives. That is someone who is the anti-company, okay? Not the people who are giving out all this bad advice and these overnight things that don't exist and allowing you to dig yourself a deeper hole, okay? I mean, again, if it were that simple, dude, I would not be here right now. Okay. I would not be here right now. And it wouldn't have taken me 12 years. That's the length of my career doing this. Like, I wouldn't have spent 8 documented years right here on YouTube showing people that there's no fast way to remove negative items from your credit report. Like, it would have been, dude, I got the answer. I have exactly what you're looking for. And all you have to do is pay me 2,500, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 on the back end. And hey, deal the deal, right? I mean, fair exchange is not considered robbery. So, I mean, like, what's it going to be, right? But there is a specific way to remove negative items. There is a way to get those credit lines that you want. It just has to be done a certain way. And we have to start at the bottom and then build our way up. Okay. We're not going to go from a $300 secured credit card to a $10,000 line. I don't want people to be, commenting and whatever about, like, hey, this chick doesn't know what she's talking about. I know that there's a way to just wake up one day and have all my negative items gone and be able to get a $10,000 line and blah blah blah. Dude, if it were like that, you wouldn't be here on YouTube, right? You wouldn't be searching for these things. How to remove negative items from my credit report in 5 days, how to get a $10,000 line in 7 days. Like, no, 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 no. You didn't work this hard your entire life for, whatever you do for a living. I don't care if you are a garbage collector or you work on Wall Street. You didn't work your damn hardest your entire life, okay? Like, you didn't go to school for, however long you went to school for. I mean, some of us finished and some of us didn't, and some of us are still in school, right? But you didn't go through all of this and put all of this effort and hard work and money and whatever, investing into yourself to just wake up one day and see that the answer was sitting there on YouTube the entire time. No, it doesn't work like that. So the biggest misconception with credit cards and with credit sweeps is that it's super, super simple to just remove your negative items and get the amount of credit that you want in a very short period of time without, doing something illegal. I mean, I think it was back in like 20 2017, I actually saw, it was on Craigslist. Those were back in the Craigslist days, right? I actually saw people who were selling some sort of package where you could get like $25,000 lines, $50,000 lines. And, once you got the credit card, you would have to pay them X amount of money on the back end, right? And it was some astronomical, amount. But dude, we're talking about how many years past was that? And don't you think that like they figured out the scheme? Like I haven't seen anything like that since then. And it's because as soon as we find these loopholes and as soon as we find these things where you can just, cheat the system, they go and they change it, they regulate it, they fix it so that you can't do that. So, and that brings me to another thing about regulations, because people want you to send out these templates, these 609s and these 1681s and these 611s and these 604s and these 66666s. Okay. And no, I'm not trying to say 666. I'm just saying like all these different sections in these laws and blah, 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 and use these cases and whatever to remove your negative items. Don't you think that if it were as simple as doing that, not only would there not be 68 million people with bad credit, but they would regulate this even more than it already is if there were some sort of threat that these letters actually caused, right? I mean, just the same as all the laws that we have in existence right now occurred because of something that was violated. Some, people didn't like people were crossing the road, so they made a law about you can get a jaywalking ticket, right? They didn't like that people were speeding, and I think it has to do with fuel economy, honestly. But anyways, so they said, hey, in this area or in this state, you can't go more than 65 miles an hour. You can't go more than X amount of miles an hour. So every single time something threatens or causes a problem, they do something to regulate it, and credit is no different. I mean, if you look at the new stuff with the medical, right? So it used to be that medical would go on your credit the same as any third party, debt, right? Third party collection. Now it's after 12 months, it's going to go on there. In 2018, they changed it to 6 months. And prior to that, it was, regular like 3 months, right? So things change all the time, but not really with what it actually takes to remove negative items and build your credit. So all I'm saying is use a little bit of the common sense that you've spent however old you are. I'm sure that you have common sense just the same as I do. When it seems like it's too good to be true, it's because it is. It's not because it probably is. It's because it is. And this is another reason why I don't commercialize credit repair and credit sweeps and all that kind of stuff. Because you know what? I can show you my houses. I can show you all my cars. I can, show you all the loans that, that we got. And I can explain how I was able to do that. But I'm not trying to sell you my life. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's simple to get these things, because it was really, 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 really difficult. I'm 38 years old. I screwed up my credit when I was 20. Like I said, I claimed bankruptcy and I jacked up everything. I had, a couple hundred surgeries, and that kind of started everything. And I even got sued by credit acceptance. Like it was a long road to get here, right? And I've done everything you could possibly think of. I sold Kirby vacuums door to door. I also did the appointment setting on the phone for Kirby vacuums. Like I've sold cars. I've done everything that you could possibly think of. And sometimes I didn't have enough money to, put on the table, so I didn't eat, because I had to keep my lights on. You know what I mean? So it's not like I just woke up one day and said, "Hey, I'm going to create a business for credit repair and I'm going to charge X amount of money." And no, I do this because I was the consumer, right? I am the consumer, right? I had the bad credit. I had to figure out how to do this myself the right way, because there were not companies out there such as myself who were doing the right things, who were giving the copies of the disputes, who were not locking people in, that were actually taking the time to figure out how to remove these things from the credit report the right way so that someone can actually move on with their life. So all I'm saying is, I know just the same as, I went through a very lengthy period of time where things were just all over the place. I know that you have too. And you have to take just a fraction of the time that you took to initially build your credit, even if it was just one line before you screwed it up, right? And then the amount of time it took you to actually screw it up to put back into yourself so that you can go and you can get your houses and you can get your cars and you can get your credit cards and you can get your loans and you can get your kids into better schools and have, parties for them and all that kind of stuff. It is 100% possible. You just have to do it the right way. All right. And I'm going to stop rambling right now. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have not checked out my credit repair software yet, I am going to post the link right now on the screen. But look at the link that's already on there. If you actually want to remove your negative items the right way and you want to, get to the point where you can have a 740 and do all the things that we were just talking about, then head over to my740.com. And if I can help you, I may offer my services to you. If I can't, I won't, okay? But if you want to check out the credit repair software that took me over a year to build with my developer, and then head over to the link that you see on your screen, and you can check that out. All right. But that was it for today. I'm going to stop rambling. Like I said, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I am here if you need me. Last night we went live and we did a credit sweep Q&A. We're going to be doing another one very soon. So if you have specific questions that you want me to include for your specific situation, then head over to any of my other actual videos, because again, when I'm live, I turn off my chat, and let me know what you are currently experiencing, and maybe I will include it in my next live. All right. So that's it, I guess. I'm going to turn this off now and go back with my son. It's his birthday today. So he is 8 years old. Can you believe that? At 8 years old. Anyways, I hope you have a great one. I will see you later. It's party time upstairs. I hear the balloons popping already. So I'm going to go. I hope you have a great one. And that is it. Bye.